Kia ora. We are live. Welcome along, everybody. I am Ryan, CEO of Timely Salon Software, and it's been a while since I took over the Timely Instagram account, and I'm bloody excited to be here tonight because I'm talking to one of the absolute legends of the Australasian hairdressing scene, Mr. Kobi Bokshish. Kobi is the owner and creative director of Intershape Hairstylist, which is a premium salon destination in Sydney. And I want to find out three things from Kobi tonight. I want to hear his story of getting into the industry because it sounds like a really interesting story. I want to find out how he's getting on with the COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdowns this year. And we're going to spend most of our time talking about an important initiative, a fundraiser that Kobi has set up to help support Melbourne salons who are really struggling during this difficult time. So let me get Kobi in here and we will say hello. While we're talking, we should have time for questions and comments as we go along. So please feel free to chuck those in down the bottom, and I'll do my best to keep up with them as we go. I've been kind of chucked
How you
out
doing,
of the screen.
How you doing, Ryan?
Good, Kobi. How are you, sir?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Just a day off, but yeah, a busy, crazy day, doing some interesting thing.
Yes, well, thank you very much for joining me here tonight. And I'm going to start with, I think, probably the most important question we should all be asking each other at the moment, which is, how are you? Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm great. I'm really good. I think, it's a challenging time for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But, you've got two choices in life, You can look at the half full glass or the half empty one, whichever one you choose to look at, I'm always choosing to look at the half full one because I believe that with any disaster there is opportunities.
Yes.
And that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to accomplish a lot of different things, attack it from different areas, still stay patient to what, passionate to what I do on the daily basis. But yeah, it's interesting time. It's interesting, very interesting. But again, I must say it's been okay. I think we're very lucky in Australia.
Yes, yeah, I feel very privileged here in this part of the world as well. Now, I first came to know your name because every time I would go to Expo, it would come up all the time when we were talking about the war. And you've achieved a lot in your career. What would you say was one of your proudest achievements? I see you won Global Hairdresser of the Year in 2018 at the Co-Team International Awards. That must have been a proud moment.
Yeah, that probably was the highlights. There is so many, and sometimes I guess it's not the last chapter of it, it's the journey. And I think the journey is sometimes more important than the actual achievement. But the journey that I had with this, with this collection that I presented to the global hairdressing world was a great journey. It was, I was privileged to work with Mr. Robert Labetta, which is one of the idols of, all the, I grew up on, watching his stuff at the time when it was with Sebastian. And I had a privilege to work with him and do a show together here in Sydney. And he gave me so much motivation and inspiration. And I had a great journey, working with him. And he said to me that it's okay to be different, the way you see art. And I think I achieved a couple of collections straight after he left that, I was really, really proud of. And again, the journey was incredible. And then, to be rewarded as Global Hairdresser of the Year, it was a big one. It doesn't mean that I'm the best hairdresser in the world. It just been recognized, for the work and the effort. Because a lot of people think that collection is just 6 images, but the amount of work and effort and the team, I've got a huge team behind me that, it's gigantic. So, with blood, tears, and sweat, we got it, and it was beautiful. It was in the Canary Islands, so couldn't ask for better.
It must have been amazing. And when you talk about your journey had a very interesting beginning as well, didn't it? Into the hairdressing.
Oh, very interesting.
Cutting hair in the Air Force as a teenager, is that right?
Correct. So I'm originally from Israel, and I grew up. And when you're 18, you finish school and you join the army. It's a compulsory 3 years. And at the time, my mom was sick with cancer, and I joined the army, and I was in the Air Force doing a mechanic course for 8 months to be qualified to be an engineer in the Air Force on the airplanes.
Wow.
And then, yeah, that was amazing. But and still I had nothing to do with hairdressing, yeah, and that was the beautiful thing about it. And once I finished it, I completed it. They put me into the base that I need to work with, which was in the area that I lived in Israel, in Haifa. And about 2 months after, my mom passed away, and I
Sorry.
just, that's all right. It's been 26, 27 years. It's just,
Yeah.
again, the way
Sounds too
we.
young. Sounds too young.
It was a week after my 19th birthday,
Yeah.
exactly. But again, you can look at, you lost your mom when you were 19, but you can look at people that lost their mom when she gave birth.
Yes.
So they never even met her. So I enjoyed my mom, and every year in her Memorial Day, we open a good bottle of scotch and celebrating her life rather than celebrating her death. So it's just life. We have to adopt to any situation we are coping with, and that's just my views on life, and that's why I think I'm successful and happy human being. To wake up every morning, wake up with a smile. It's not an easy thing, especially during this. But that's my mentality. That's how I always think. So once she passed away, I just kind of lost that little bit. I wanted to get out, and obviously in the army is like you don't go out. So what do? You go and do the naughty stuff that you normally do. And 2 months after she passed away, the army police caught me smoking joint. And 26 years ago, smoking joint in the army was not a good idea. But I always had some bad ideas. So they put me into the army jail for 18 days. And once I finished, I got out. I had a meeting with a big sergeant at the time. Her name was Oli. She was a female. She had two big falafels here. And she's like, okay, Kobi, so what do you want to do? And I was like, excuse my language, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to be here. I just lost my mom. I've just been in jail. I want out. And she's like, well, we can't. But can you cut hair? And I said, no. Wow. And I said, why are you asking? And she said, because when you a hairdresser, it's the easiest job. So you go 5 days to the army, and then you've got 9 days off. So you go from Sunday to Thursday, and then you've got from Thursday to the following Monday. And I was like, I'll definitely will give it a go. Let's try. So I walked into the hairdressing salon in the Air Force and held the clipper. Had no idea what I was doing. And I just touched it, and that was it. And I think 2 days later, I looked at my dad and I said, I'm going to be a hairdresser.
Wow.
And since then, the rest is history. I just, keep pushing. And every time before I go on stage or before I do anything, any show, anything, I always look in the mirror in the bathroom before I go. And I say, thank you, Mom. That was a present from my mother before she passed. She kind of gave it to me. She told me, okay, I'm not here now to look after you, so you will have to look after yourself. And hairdressing is what we do. And yeah, every time I said, look where we are now, Mom, look where we are now. And when I won, I remember I did a show to actually get the trophy. And I did it in the hotel room. I looked in the mirror and I was talking to her for about 5 minutes, and I just said, look where we are now, Mom. And that's for you, so thank you. So yeah, that's my story.
That is beautiful, man. I knew you had, Kobi, I knew you had an interesting beginning story, but I was not prepared for that. That was inspiring. And thank you so much for sharing it.
My pleasure.
With the audience. That's incredible. And you mentioned that was 26 years ago, and here we are in 2020 in the middle of a global pandemic, which has affected not just your salon, but many salons around the world. Tell me what it's been like this year for you.
Once again, it's been interesting. It's been very interesting. I think when it all happened, I'm Jewish, and I've got, when I need advice, I always talk to my rabbi.
Yes.
So I asked him the questions like, what's happening? And he said, as a human being, you're going through a phase. When you're facing something like this, there is three basically chapters that you're going through. Number one, it's denial. So in the beginning, we all looked at it and said, nah, it's just there, it's just in China, it's just a conspiracy. Denial.
Yes.
Then the second stage, once you kind of, seen it, it's the anger. You're getting
Yes.
very angry. It's like, fuck, it's my salon now, and I can't do this and I can't do that.
Yes.
And you're going crazy. And the third one, it's accepted.
Yes.
So you accept it. Now your anger is past, the denial is past. And the fourth one that I always say, what is your action? How are you going to deal with the situation? So I closed the salon, and on the last day that I closed the salon, I did a live in Facebook, and that was just me, because I'm an open book. I don't hide emotions. I like to tell my story, and I like also to say how I feel. Mostly it's positive, but if there is something that I need to say, I'll say it loud. I'm not afraid from what's going to happen. This is just how I feel, and nobody in the world can change how I personally feel. And that's what people trying to do, to change how people feel. And that's why I think social media, it's great when we're sharing something like this, but it also can be a very big enemy. And that's what happened in March. But go back to the day that I closed, I said I'm going to do a live and I'm going to share my feeling. And my feeling was, what are we going to do? I have rent to pay. I have stuff to pay, because I'm going to, first of all, it's my people that work for me. They my bread and butter. They gave me everything. They support me in every, I need to pay them. So I took all my money from every account that I had, and I paid my staff for a month and a half ahead, because I didn't know what's going to happen. And we had a bass that coming up, and we have no income. I literally shut the salon. And if you go to Facebook, to my page, and you'll see it, I think we had it was overwhelming. I had I think 28,000 people watching it, about 700 shares. And the funny thing is, I closed it. I came home with one of my team members, opened a bottle of wine, drank the wine, and okay, what's happening? I'm having the first sip of the wine, and I have a phone number. Somebody called me. I don't recognize the number, and I was like, okay, how can I help you? And he's like, my name is Mark. I'm from the ATO. I'm the assistant for the deputy commissioner. And I was like, ATO, oh, that's great. Bring it on now. Let's celebrate with whatever we've got. And he said, no, listen, I just watched your live with Deborah Jenkins, which is the deputy commissioner of the ATO, and we want to help. We watched it, and we saw emotional person. We had no idea. We talking to the top people. I mean, the businesses, the big. But we just heard somebody that basically this is the small business in Australia. Yes. We want to talk. And I've been with these guys since the whole mess started, since March, for about 2 months. They've been so amazing. The ATO in Australia have been incredible, just supporting us. And then I got an idea.
Sorry, Kobi, for those folks who don't know who the AGO is, who are tuning in, how would you explain that?
Yeah. So the ATO is the Australian Tax Department.
Yeah, right.
So they're supposed to be the nasty one. That's what I always thought. It's probably short people with glasses and bald and just go after your tax. Just want a lot of money from you.
So
but
Australian
I discovered, what is it called in New Zealand? What do you guys
Inland Revenue Department, IRD.
Yeah. So we've got the ATO, and we always had fear from them, and I finally discovered that they're not that fearful. They're actually beautiful human being that wants to help. And so we've been working really closely together. And I thought, what? If people heard my voice so much, what can I do? And going back a little bit, Ryan, I met Sharon Blaine about 11 years ago. I went to do a boot camp when I wanted to start doing competition. And she asked me, why do you want it? And I said, because right now, my mother always taught me to do a lot of charities and to do a lot of things and to help people. That's just who I, raised me. And nobody knows my name. And the bigger my name will be, the more people I will be able to help. And what happened, I start winning competition and start, getting my name out there. And, it happened to me what happened to most people. I kind of lost my way in the journey, because remember I always talked about the journey.
Right.
And
Yes.
I think the ego kind of take over, and you forget why you actually started it. So I started when I did it about 10 years ago. I did
Right.
an event called Hair Raise with Sharon Blaine, Frank Apostolopoulos, I always get in trouble with his name, Emiliano and Lisa Vitali, and we did a charity, obviously a show that I raised money for Heart Kids Foundation and Oz Harvest, which is amazing. But as I said, the more you start winning, the more you forget. And I think the Corona, basically what it did for a lot of people, it's really ground you and made you understand what are we doing here. So
Yes.
from this Facebook Live, I said, okay, now it's time to go back to your roots. And what can you do to actually make and help? So I opened this Facebook group called The Aftermath. And it's been crazy. I'm sure it's probably one of your questions, but yeah, it's been crazy.
Yes.
It's been overwhelming. It's not even a word. It's the amount of support and talent that came in to support us in this group was amazing. So the people that don't know, The Aftermath, it's created by myself and Adam Chacha. He's a very technical guy, and he's got his YouTube channel and all that stuff. And I wanted, to connect with the people, and we opened this group, and within, I think, 2 days we had 10,000 people, just
Wow.
hairdressers. Yeah, we're on
Right.
14,000 people now, and we basically just provided every day 2 lives for 1 hour each from the best hairdressers in Australia, in New Zealand, and the world. I mean, we had some crazy talent on there, that people that just give their time and doing a live feed on The Aftermath, and people just ask questions and live, and they can watch it. So the amount of numbers of views that we have per each one of them is incredible. And that was in the isolation. And then I really opened my shop after 5 weeks, and we said, okay, what can we do now? So we created a competition, because all the live that we've done was on mannequins. So I said, okay, what can we do? Never been done before. Let's try it. Let's do Mannequin of the Year. So normally when you enter competition, just to give you an idea, when we do a collection, it's between $12,000 to $20,000 to do a collection.
Yes.
And if we win, we get a trophy that costs about $50, and it probably doesn't even make it to the car park. It breaks on the way.
Yes.
So we said, okay, why don't we try to do something for the hairdresser that will cost them nothing, only a mannequin head, and even the one that couldn't afford it, we send it to them. Pete from Excellent Edges was very generous. Jenny donated $1,000 to send for the apprentices and stuff like this. Right. And we said we created 4 categories. We did a mannequin of the year, style mannequin of the year, mannequin of the year, and apprentice new school mannequin of the year. So 4 competition, open to everybody. It doesn't cost anything. Just bring what you have. And the prizes that we had was just ridiculous. We had prizes probably in the $30,000-$40,000. I mean, the first place, and that's from people, from companies, giving. Like JB Mazzella from Mazzella and Partner in London, after he's one of the best hairdressers in the world, he gave a kit of $4,000, scissors of Mizutani for that. Excellent Edges gave 2 vouchers of $2,500. Everybody just gave, and went directly to the winners. And again, cost you nothing, and you make maximum. So just to keep the head out of this craziness, and so many people lost everything in the head, and it's like, how can we make it different? How can we make it different? And then, obviously we all got back into reality, and it started to get back, and we were so busy. It was like literally Christmas every day for us in May and June. But we still had to keep the restrictions, which is I've got big space. So I'm doing 1 chair yes, 1 chair no, so we can't use every chair. So every second chair. So I'm going down from 15 cutting station to 7, and from 8 color bar to 4. So we really limited. But again, we still have more than what you guys had, and what Victoria obviously having right now. So we just adopted to that, and it's becoming a normal thing. And then our brothers and sisters from Victoria got locked down.
Yes.
And I was like, man, I can't watch them like this, I can't. So we need to keep them, because we had a semi-lockdown. We didn't have what you had, so
Right.
hairdressers could still move, and that was
Yes.
crazy for me. I felt crazy. So for them in Victoria, they had stage 4, which is curfew, 8 p.m. Can't leave the house. No salons open, no businesses open. So we really wanted to make sure that we are keeping them motivated. So I started this fundraiser and a project that called Heartful Vic on the aftermath, which is basically giving them the education. So every Monday we do 3 artists doing an hour live. Like last week we had Mark Hayes, Global Creative Director of Sassoon, doing live.
Wow.
Next week
Yes.
I've got JB Marzella. Yesterday I had Ellie from, and that's, international artists that just said, yes, we're here, we want to support, and they're giving the best education. I think Lyndall Salmon, she's watching us here. She's probably Australian's favorite at the moment from Biba Academy. She's one of the best cutter. And she did one yesterday on Monday, and she's blowing people's mind, it's like, and that's what we do. We just basically giving education for free with no charge, showing that the industry is one, and we are here. Hi, she's giving us lipsticks.
Yes, that one's for you, Kobi.
So it's really giving back, but I thought I want to keep them, first it's to keep them motivated. So that's with the hair, but then we wanted to keep them also sane, because mental health is a huge problem that people are facing right now, especially when they're in lockdown in stage 4. So we also provided every Wednesday, so we just had it today at 6 p.m. Every Wednesday we've got what's called mentoring marathon from either counselors, business owners, coaches, to just give a little bit of ideas of how to deal with stuff, breathing. We're going to do some meditation for them. And it's been, really helpful for a lot of them. The numbers of views, huge. So we're getting a lot of, hello, Georgie. Georgie's here. My favorite. And we give them a lot with that. But then I said, okay, but they struggling, because financially, I know when I was closed for 5 weeks, I was fortunate that I've been doing all right, before. So I had a little bit of savings, so I could actually pay my stuff and pay. But if, that's the second time you get locked down, you're in trouble. So I thought, why don't we just ask from people, instead of giving them subscription, to donate some money? And thank you guys. You're very generous as well to donate money. And that's something that I know about you guys, and I watched it long time. You're always there to support. Even if I'm not with you, you're always there to support, and I appreciate about Timely. That's something that I always, trust me, I see things. And you've done it before for Stevie, and you've done it before to a lot of others. And, one morning I woke up and I saw the account with another $500, and I really appreciate it. So again, very generous. And this money, I don't want to give cash to hairdressers. So what we're doing, because I'm not a registered charity, we put in a true hair aid. So hair aid is basically taking the GoFund, and the money will go into one account. And from that, instead of giving the cash, what we're doing, we're basically going to buy some Coles and Woolworths gift vouchers. And pay some bills as well for them. So we don't give them money, but we are give them either vouchers or pay bills by basically just send us an email or DM. It's going to be, obviously, nobody will know who asked. And depending on how many people we have, at the moment we're sitting on $10,000 or $11,000 already. But the amount of people that will ask, the amount of someone will need the assistant, we will just split it evenly between all of them. And also trying to get some companies to sponsor education, to give education for the Victorians, so they don't have to pay for it. Because I don't know how it's in New Zealand, but in Australia, if you send one of your team for education, not only that most of the time you pay for the education, you actually have to pay for the day that he's there. So if it's on his day off, you have to pay him as a wage. So it's very expensive for a salon that have 10 people to send to education. So I was really working with some companies. So Matrix came aboard. Obviously, I'm the creative director for them. So they're giving some free education for Victorian next year. That doesn't matter if they're Matrix or not, just so they can send their team. And I'm working on some other stuff. Basically, in the last, we've got another week and a half left. So keeping it happy and keeping it real, brother.
Yeah. I think, like you said, this is a time because of everything we've all been through and are still going through. It's a time for the industry to really come together. And when we heard about the work you were doing, not only did we want to support it, we wanted to help get the word out there so that more people could find out about it and get behind it and support it as well. Our Timely team is based in Melbourne as well, in Victoria, and you're absolutely right when you say the second lockdown for people was much harder than the first one, where we're really noticing that with the team. And so we have to be, united.
We've got my partner in crimes, Adam Chacha, in here.
Adam Chacha. Hello, sir. Nice to see you. So with that in mind, tell me again, the name of the Facebook group is Aftermath. How do people find it? And then how can people
Aftermath
find
Hair Ed. So it's Aftermath Hair Ed, ED. And
Yes.
they just go, because we don't want politics, we don't want bullshit, we don't want company to start going and bombast us. So what
any hairdressers now watching can jump in, join the group?
Join the group, watch the education for free, and
Brilliant.
that's it. It costs you nothing, but we don't want people to post, not for the reason we want to control them. We basically just want to give back to the industry and don't start advertising there. So yeah, jump on board. Oh, that's my wife. Hello, wifey. Come say hello. From New Zealand.
I just got in there.
Kia ora.
That's Michelle.
I just got
How
in
are
there.
you?
Sorry. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
That's my rock. So you see everything that I achieve
Yes.
pretty much. I'm the face, but she's the one behind, staying in the salon, raising 2 kids. Yeah, that's the one. So behind every good hairdresser, there is a good woman.
Yes.
Always.
Indeed.
And
Indeed.
she was my apprentice, but don't tell anybody.
Right. And then the Heartful fundraiser, where is the best place for people to go and find out about that and find out how they can get involved?
Great. So basically, when they go to the Aftermath group, they will be
Yes.
able to, you'll see there is a lot of links there saying Hair Aid donate. So they can just go and donate anything from $10. It's all tax deductible. But anything, any dollars count, because again, people don't understand. Because I remember when it first hit us, I looked at everything. Everything changed. Suddenly, it's like, I sometimes go out on the weekend and spend $500 without even blink. And this time it was like, okay, so do I need this? Do I really need this? Start cutting, foxtails gone. You start looking at things differently. So it makes a big difference, even at $10, at $20, at $50, whatever you can, to these people in Victoria, because not only that they don't have their business, they don't have the pride. It's very difficult to ask for help. So instead of them asking for it, we want to offer it without nobody else knowing. So anything that people can do to support it is amazing. And as I said, just to have Mark Hayes from New Zealand, from Sassoon last week, it's probably a course that cost $1,000 to see him doing live, all for free. So you've got probably almost 100 videos of education from the best. You've got also from New Zealand, Danny Patter and Michael Beale did. And we've got some amazing Sharon Blaine and Lorna Evans and Adam and Stevie English, and you name it, it's there for free for anybody to watch. And instead of charging them, we ask for donation to help our friends in New Zealand.
No wonder
Victoria.
Victoria. No wonder you have 14,000 members already. Let's get that up to 30,000 and keep it going, eh?
That's the next move.
Yeah. Brilliant, man. I like round numbers. I like round numbers.
That's why you are the CEO.
Exactly.
Maybe
Always round up.
The CEO with us.
Yes. Cool. Any last advice for the industry or any messages you'd like to send out there for people who are, finding things hard at the moment?
Remember what I said before.
Yeah.
Always look at the full side of the glass.
Yes.
Not the empty side. Because again, even when I lost my mom when I was 19, I had 19 years to live with her. There is a baby that lost their mom and never met them. She died in the birth. So you always, somebody out there have worse than you. Okay? Yes. So you just have to look forward. It's, I'm sure in about 5 years or 3 years or maybe in 2 years, we will look back and we will laugh. And we said, we are the survivors of the corona. It's tough. Stay tuned. And don't be afraid to ask for help. There is people million
That's
people like
great advice.
myself and Adam that are there to support. And you know, I got supported from so many people in the industry during that life. And again, I just gave you the story this much only on the beginning of my career, but maybe for other time I'll tell you, when I go to Australia, I even got my sounds for free, present. But again, from a Kiwi guy, by the way. But that's for next time. But there is always people there in your journey that willing to help. Don't take it for granted, but ask for help. And I'll say to people that watch and they kind of stuck in their own bubble, ask him, like you said to me, the first question, are you okay? Ask if you're okay. It doesn't, because you'll see. People will say that if they're not okay, they will say they're not okay. And then we just have to support one another, give, because I think the corona can bring a lot of negativity, but it can bring a lot of positivity. And we want to give back. We want to get united. We've got the best craft in the world, amazing companies as well, like yourself, guys, that support in the industry. So the only advice I can give, let's stay strong, let's stay together, and let's give. Let's give back, because there is nothing better than getting a thank you.
Yes, that's a brilliant message. And I think a great place to finish on, you know, I think when you mentioned as well that there are those 3 stages that you can go through in a crisis. I certainly went through those myself. And one of the things I think I learned was everybody goes through those stages in their own cycle. So, you know, everybody now, especially with the way different regions are in different places, will be in a different place in that journey. So, you know, it's for us to find the people that are struggling and reach out and help them as much as we can. If you're in a place that you can help other people, then let's do this. This is a time that the industry needs to pull together. And crisis reveals character, right? I'm seeing every day I get to see people who have reached into a dark place and found their why and found their passion again, found their purpose, like you did with your platform. Said, hey, you know, have I been using this for the reason that I wanted it in the first place? And then refocused yourself. So I think, you know, for me personally and for a lot of people, I'm seeing that an event like this can have a lot of positives, and everything you've said has resonated with me tonight, sir. So thank you very much for your time. We will post links to your Facebook group so people can join and get involved. And we'll share the details of how people can get involved with the fundraiser as well, because I'd love to see that continue.
Amazing. Amazing, Ryan. Thank you so much for having me on your platform, and thank you for supporting the cause, and thank you for donating. And again, together, we're better. It doesn't matter what company you're working for and who you are. As an industry, we are one craft, one team, one dream. So thank you for sharing the message. Chile. Why Chile, Adam? Can you see all the comments there, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm seeing them. Yeah. I think he's saying it was hot. It was hot.
Yeah, hot. Because he's Italian, you know, he doesn't really like chili, but yeah.
Right.
Again, thank you, Ryan. I really appreciate, on behalf of Adam, myself, and the Aftermath, thank you for giving us this opportunity to talk about the Aftermath. And again, God bless. And next year, I was booked to come 6 times this year for New Zealand, but next year we're gonna come as the Aftermath. I think I spoke to PHB already, so we're coming back.
I watched your video announcing the New Zealand tour, and I saw the date was March 6th, and I thought, yeah, that probably didn't happen. So yeah.
Well, she already booked me for 2021. She was the first one to come in, but let's hope that we will make it. So thank you again, guys. All the best.
Thanks, sir.
Pleasure.
Have a great time. Bye.
Bye.